Hey guys, it's Eddie here from DilleenProperty, and today we are talking about an awesome subject, and that is, should you buy property in a trust or trust structure or company, or should you buy property in your own name? How should you structure your purchase? And it's a very good question. I get asked this question so many times per week, it's not even funny. And buying in a trust or buying in a company is something that I personally got stuck on. When I was in the early stages of building my portfolio, I had about 2-3 properties, and I really was not sure if I should start buying properties from that point on in trusts. I read a lot of property investing books, spoke to investors, really researched a lot, and a lot of people were saying, oh, I should buy properties in trust and all that kind of stuff, and I wasn't sure, right? So this video is basically just explaining my thoughts on it. And if I were to start again, what would I do? So maybe you can take, from my experience, and it will help you to grow your portfolio, right? So if I were to start all over again, I wouldn't even worry about trusts at all. And just for the, knowledge, I bought the first probably 8-9 properties in my own portfolio, which is almost that. I've got 13 properties at the moment, which is soon to be 14. And I plan to have 20 properties very, very shortly. So I bought, the first probably 8 or 9 properties in my own personal name, in my individual name, and then after that I started buying in trusts, self-managed super funds, companies and all that kind of stuff. So I've tried a little bit of everything, but going to the basics, if I were to start all over again, the reasons why I would just stick to buying my individual name for the first, 5 to 10 properties is this. The whole point of actually purchasing property using a trust, whether it's discretionary trust or unit trust, is majority of the time people will tell you for asset protection. Some things to factor in with that, and of course it's not financial advice, just from my experience, is that when you're buying properties in trust, for one thing, usually it depends on finance. You can only do certain deposit sizes, so sometimes it's deemed as company lending if you're buying in a trust or company entity rather than your individual self. So sometimes, say for example, when you're purchasing your first property, right, you're not sure what to do, you can get in with as little as a 10% deposit. If you're buying in a trust or company, most of the time it will be minimum 20, sometimes even 30% if it comes under, depending how you're purchasing it and that kind of stuff, what structure you're purchasing it in. So it might be 20 or 30% deposit. So buying in your individual name is a lot easier usually to obtain finance from my experience. It's easy to get the loan across the line. Take, for example, if a bank's going to lend people money, well, finance is very tight as it is at the moment anyway. But if a bank's going to lend people money, would you think they'd rather lend a person with an actual person finance that has, proper borrowing capacity, job history and all that kind of stuff, pay slips and all that kind of stuff to be able to support the loan, than a random company that someone set up or a trust structure that someone set up. It's usually for getting finance for trust as well. I guess the downside is it takes a lot of time to get the loan across the line. It might take a few months to get that sorted. So it's a lot harder to get finance for purchasing properties in trust. So if I was starting again, I would just purchase properties in my individual name to actually build up my wealth, build up a solid asset base, and then purchase in trust later. That's what I would do starting again. Pretty much the same thing I've done. But I guess I got stuck after about 2-3 properties, and it really put me off for a very, very long time because I wasn't sure what to do. So I didn't do anything. I was just pretty much had too much I was almost information overload, and I wasn't sure what to do. If I learned that from the get-go, I'd probably have 20 or 30 properties now instead of just 13. So it really depends, how you look at things, but what information you take on board, and not overanalyzing things as well. Making sure that you're taking action, you're not getting stuck. So yeah, once again, purchasing trust, it really depends on your position and what's starting, savings, capital or equity you have starting off with. And it depends on your, in terms of your personal circumstances as well. If you're purchasing properties in trust, for asset protection because you might be in a, your job or career might be some person who's risky getting sued, like, it could be a high risk type of job that you're in. You might be a surgeon or something like that. People's lives are at risk or something like that. Or people can get sued, or you might be a lawyer or whatever it is. So it really depends on your position. So in my opinion, if you're going to start your portfolio from scratch, you're going to have to. The downside of using trust first, I guess, you're going to have to come up with more money up front. It's going to take a lot longer to get building your portfolio, a lot longer to get finance. Instead of buying, one property every three to 6 months, or a couple of properties a year in your individual name, it might take 1 or 2 years to purchase in trust to build up that capital, because you're putting so much savings and capital into one deal. And then on top of that, trust as well, you're going to have to pay. You have to pay fees just to get them set up and created. So it could be anywhere between $1,000 to $4,000 just to set up whether it's discretionary trust, unit trust. It's a lot of paperwork involved as well, or even a self-managed super fund that usually costs. I did my self-managed super fund. That usually costs between $3,000 to $4,000, sometimes $5,000 for all the different things to be set up to allow you to actually purchase in that. So it's a big process. So in my experience, it's a lot easier just purchasing an individual name to get started building a portfolio, and then later on you might release equity and then use that equity to purchase stuff in trusts or self-managed super funds later on. So yeah, those are just my thoughts. As I said, there's lots of more things to consider. This is not financial advice, just from my experience, what I've learned over the years, and what I've found. So maybe you can take this information from my experience and use it to help you grow your own property portfolio, or purchase property in general to get you where you want to be. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you found it useful and the information helpful. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.